Hey everyone, and welcome to your science news update for January 2nd, 2026. Today, we're going to be digging into some absolutely amazing breakthroughs, from the farthest corners of space right down to the secrets hidden inside our very own cells.
So, let's kick things off with a big question, one that's really going to frame everything we talk about today. What if everything we thought we knew about the past, from how planets are born to, believe it or not, where your cat came from, is being completely rewritten as we speak? Because, as you're about to see, that's pretty much exactly what's happening.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, we're heading out into the cosmos, where the story of our universe is getting some major revisions. So picture this. Astronomers are peering through the Hubble Space Telescope, and they're tracking this faint little dot of light. They think, great, we've found a new exoplanet. Just a pretty standard, but still cool discovery.
But then, it just, poof, it vanished, gone. And in its place, a different bright object popped up. So what was the stunning conclusion? They hadn't seen a planet at all. What they'd actually witnessed was the chaotic, violent aftermath of two planets smashing into each other. That light was a massive, expanding cloud of dust. It gives us this incredibly rare peek into the messy, destructive, and creative way solar systems are actually born.
Meanwhile, the James Webb Telescope found something that, well, it didn't disappear, but it might be even stranger. Get ready for this one. PSR J2322-2650b. It's a planet as massive as Jupiter, and it's orbiting a pulsar, a tiny, dead star, only about the size of a city, spinning at an insane speed.
And this is where it gets really weird. The world itself is just so alien. Its atmosphere isn't water or methane. No, it's thick with carbon and clouds of literal soot. The pulsar's gravity is so intense that it stretched the entire planet into a weird lemon shape. And deep inside, the pressure is so immense that scientists think its carbon core has crystallized into diamonds. A giant, soot-covered, lemon-shaped diamond planet. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Discoveries like this just completely break our models of where and how planets can even exist.
You know, this whole idea of rewriting history, it's not just happening trillions of miles away. It's happening right here on our own planet, and it's changing the story of one of our most familiar friends. Okay, so for the longest time, the story we all believed was that cats were first domesticated in Europe about 7,000 years ago by early farmers. Makes sense, right? But new genetic analysis of ancient cat bones completely flips that story on its head. It turns out those early felines were just local wildcats hanging around the farms for a free meal. The actual house cats we know today, their story starts much later. They were brought over from North Africa on Roman grain ships about 2,000 years ago, basically serving as the elite pest control squad for the empire.
So we've rewritten the past. Now let's switch gears and talk about decoding the present, uncovering these hidden rules that run our world and, literally, our own bodies.
Let me ask you something. What if your body had its own secret weapon, a built-in defense against one of the most basic parts of getting older? Well, it turns out new research suggests it absolutely does.
It all comes down to a very specific nerve, the right vagus nerve. Scientists just found that keeping a strong connection between this nerve and the heart acts like a powerful anti-aging shield for it. This connection doesn't just sit there, it actively helps the heart keep its pumping power and directly protects heart cells from the wear and tear of aging. It's like a built-in guardian for our heart, and it could open up totally new ways to think about cardiac health as we get older.
Now, let's zoom in even deeper, way down to the level of a single cell. We usually think of electrical signals as a thing for brain cells, right? But a new idea called flexoelectricity suggests it's way more universal. Turns out, the simple, constant bending and flexing of a cell's outer membrane can actually generate an electrical signal.
And we're not talking about a tiny spark here. A single cell membrane can generate up to 90 millivolts. That's in the same ballpark as the signals in our own neurons. This can mean that every single cell in your body is a tiny power generator, using physical motion to communicate. So what's the big deal? Well, understanding this could change everything from how we deliver medicine to how we build electronics that work with the human body.
All right, let's tackle a question I'm sure we've all wondered after a really tough workout. Does your body secretly betray you by slowing everything down later in the day to compensate for all those calories you just burned? For a long time, that compensation model was a pretty popular theory. But guess what? New research has officially busted that myth. The data is super clear. When you exercise more, your total daily energy burn goes up. Period. Your body does not hit the brakes on its basic functions to cancel out your hard work. So the big takeaway here is that jog you went on this morning, it absolutely counts. Okay, for our last section, let's look to the future. We've seen how science is rewriting the past and decoding the present. Now let's look at how it's actively building the world of tomorrow. And let me tell you, 2026 is shaping up to be a massive year for pushing our boundaries. After spending decades mostly circling our own planet, humanity is finally getting back into the business of deep space exploration in a big way.
I mean, just look at this lineup. NASA's Artemis 2 is going to send astronauts on a trip around the moon for the first time since the Apollo missions. Japan's MMX mission is trying to do something straight out of science fiction. Land on Mars's moon Phobos, grab a sample, and bring it all the way back home. And China's Chang'e 7 is heading to the lunar South Pole to hunt for water ice, the key resource for any future moon base. This isn't just a plan, it's a new golden age of space exploration happening right now.
But the future isn't only being built out there. It's also being built right here, at the smallest scales imaginable, using materials that pretty much break the rules of physics as we know them. Okay, this quote sounds a little technical, but listen to what it's describing. Researchers found a material that does something that should be impossible. It's a superconductor, meaning electricity flows through it with zero resistance, but only on its top and bottom surfaces. The inside is just a normal old piece of metal. This natural sandwich, as they call it, is a massive step toward building stable, error-proof quantum computers, the kind of machines that could solve problems we can't even dream of tackling today.
And finally, one of the most incredible tools we have for building our future is one that lets us read our own biological instruction manual with a clarity we have never had before.
You know, for decades, scientists looked at 98% of our DNA, the parts that don't make proteins, and they basically called it junk DNA. But a new AI has just come along and cracked the code. By digging into this so-called junk DNA in brain cells, it discovered it's not junk at all. It's filled with thousands of powerful little genetic switches that turn genes on and off, controlling brain cell activity. And a whole bunch of these switches are linked to Alzheimer's disease. We're finally starting to understand the language of our own genome, which gives scientists thousands of new targets for developing future treatment.
So from planets that disappear to the real story of our pets, from the secret life of our cells to the code hidden in our DNA, the story of, well, everything is constantly changing. We are, at the very same time, explorers of our own history and the architects of our own future, which really only leaves one question: what incredible thing are we going to learn tomorrow?